Kenelle, what time is it?
Right now, live on Right Now Radio.
Let's go. So, this is our reboot. It's 2025. Right now, radio has been off the air for a few months, but we're back. So, we have Tech Talk today. We have a great guest, by the way. We have Miss Kenelle Moore. She's a Microsoft 365 specialist. She has a lot of background in cybersecurity. She came from a dental hygienist background. So, Kenelle, tell us where you're from and what's brought your interest in getting into tech.
Absolutely. I moved around a bit. I was born in Philly. I raised in Laurel, Maryland. I've lived in Portland, Oregon,
Wow.
in Arizona. So I have a background all over the country. But I got to meet a lot of great people all over the world. You know, my tech background kind of starts at home, inspired by my dad. He had his background in telecommunications, and then he went on to become a network engineer.
Yeah.
And so that got my interest started as a kid, but I didn't really pursue it. I went the dental route. And so I actually did dental assisting. I did dental assistant for 13 years. I loved it, absolutely loved it. However, after 13 years, I wanted to do something different. And so, just knowing what my dad did, I was like, what can I do in tech? And tech is so broad, there's a lot of different areas that you can move into. I tried my hand first with web development just to see how I liked that. And then eventually I landed my first job as a Microsoft 365 specialist. So
Mhm.
that's kind of like what got me started really with tech, learning Microsoft 365 technologies. And Yeah, that's where that was my first role.
Interesting. So, my background is working as a network engineer and system administrator as well. I have a lot of experience as
Nice.
working with Cisco products, CCNA, and studying for my CCNP. Before I went back to the classroom as a computer science teacher, and I can relate to that. Sometimes, certain paths and colleges kind of pull at you, regardless if,
Hmm.
you're on a different path. I think that's awesome. So, seeing your dad got a chance to, do a lot of amazing work. But I loved about it too, just getting my hands on a lot of routers, switches, a lot of equipment, and also traveling. I mean, I've been a few places that you just named, like Arizona, Alaska, Guam. It's been across the world, so I thought it was amazing. So I guess what was like that first moment outside of seeing your dad work? When did you feel like, you know what, I could do this? Like that job seems pretty cool. Like, what was that for you?
Um, I would say just wanted to, I'm always curious, right? So you know how like you
Yeah.
accidentally hit the inspect button on your computer and you can see the behind the scene coding, for a web page or something like that. So I always got curious with that, like what is this, just led me to learning what JavaScript was or just front end web development, right? So that's where my curiosity started. Even in the midst of being a dental assistant, I was always the person that they would come to try to fix something on a computer or with
Yeah.
technology. And it always excited me, right? So I figured, maybe this is something that I could pivot to. I just never took the action until what really sparked my interest was when, I found out I was going to have my son. And I
Wow.
was like, now is the time where I want to make more money, you right? I want to make more money for myself and let me really dive into seeing what web development is all about. So my route or into tech is non-traditional. I started self-teaching myself, just by taking some online courses and any free programs that I could find on the internet. I did. And there were times where I was taking, two or three courses at once.
You sound like me.
Just trying to skill up as fast as I could. And one thing led to another. Getting started with web development, and then I ended up landed my first job with as a Microsoft 365 specialist. So I got to tie in some of my web development skills into some of the projects that I did as a Microsoft 365 specialist. Um, but yeah, that's how it all got started.
So, and we work with nonprofits. I guess, like, when did your first opportunity come to get into the nonprofit sector?
So I work with nonprofits in a lot of different ways, right? So, the education that I've gotten, like with my web development skills, I learned some of those from a program through a nonprofit called TechBridge. But then, as a Microsoft 365 specialist, I just happen to be able to work with nonprofits every day. And we assist them, my team assists them with utilizing the free Microsoft licenses and grants that nonprofits are offered, just to basically help nonprofits better serve their mission. Right, with Microsoft 365 technologies. Because a lot of people know about like Microsoft Word or PowerPoint, but they may not know about SharePoint,
They
which is
don't.
like,
They really don't.
yeah, yeah, intranet websites and stuff like that. Or they may not know about Power Automate where they can do automation. So just being able to work with the M365 ecosystem, I've learned a lot. With SharePoint, you can further your web development skills. With Power Automate, I've learned how to automate different processes for the organization. So it's been a journey. I've been doing that for about 2.5 years, 3 year, almost 3 years, and um,
Sounds good.
yeah, there's a lot. There's so much to cover because I've done a lot in the last 3 years, right? And I still haven't even talked about the cybersecurity portion of my journey yet. So there's
Wow.
a lot. Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's awesome. So, I myself, have been busy with some nonprofit work myself and partnered with the West Montgomery Ash Committee, a couple online tutoring programs with kids who code and um different organizations, even a lot of private tutoring I've done because I've done some self-taught things when I first got into network before I even got my CCNA. I remember when I was teaching at Trinity State Community College. When I first applied to be adjunct, just back in 2018, right? That's when I got my master's degree from Alabama State. And I was really interested in getting to teaching at the time. So my supervisor then, Ms. Pickett, said, "Hey, you get your master's, come back and just apply." So I did. Once I applied, I became adjunct first. Went through a year, just hit the ground running, and just got into it. I was getting off the road from my full time networking job to go into teach at night. But
Wow.
additionally, when I got the opportunity to go full time, I still didn't have my CCNA, but I had a lot of hands on experience with configuring routers, switches, working with a lot of router protocols like OSPF, that's open and shortest path first, ERGRP. But the thing about it, I was so caught up in, wow, I don't have my cert yet, what if somebody knows? And I had another colleague at the time that kept saying, "Hey man, you gotta get your cert. You don't have it yet, how you can teach class." But let me tell you something. Sometimes we gotta be careful not to talk ourselves out of opportunities because I went
Mhm.
to interview be a full-time Cisco instructor, and here I was talking about, well, I plan to get my cert here in the next 3 months. I'm very confident that I get a job. I get. I'm kind of sound like I would doubt myself in a way. So the speaker said, she said, "Hey, you want the job or not?" So I said, well, "Okay." So you want the job or not? I'm like, "Okay, you're right." So okay, so
And
I'm with you now. So,
yeah.
long story short, she said, "You know what? I'm very confident you can pass that test, but you know what? We really want to hire you. So do you want the job?" "Yes, ma'am." I got started next week.
Wow, that is amazing. No,
Yeah.
that is amazing because that speaks to a lot of us do experience imposter syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to tech, but someone called you out on it and was like, "Listen, do you want the job or not?" And
Yeah. Yeah.
believe in yourself,
Yeah.
and it led to where
But,
you are.
and, a lot of times it taught me a lot then. Number one, just, go for the opportunity, but believe in myself. And it showed me too that, sometimes you may not know it, but everybody's not always happy for your success.
Hmm.
Even though it's a great thing for you, they looking at you like, man, how did he get it? You know,
Hmm.
they may wish, like they could teach the class or either deliver that SharePoint product to the nonprofit organization. Although
Hmm.
they can't, but they see you doing it just, hey, it's crazy. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I would say like for me, the pivot between dental and tech, right, is two totally different things, right? Going from the healthcare industry, and I considered myself very, very good at what I did in dental. I was very proud. I had the opportunity to work with some of the top dentists in the countries because I worked at universities and schooling systems, our dental schools. And so going from feeling super confident in what I did then to knowing absolutely nothing about where I was going, it took a lot of faith in myself to take that leap. And, I had to have that growth mindset because, if you have a fixed mindset and you tell yourself that you only know what you know and you can't learn nothing else, you can hinder yourself and you remain stuck, right? And so it took a lot of self-talk, a lot of prayer, support from family to push and learn something that I didn't know.
I agree. Same here. Even now, I would say, rebooting my podcast. I've been off for the last 6 months, so to say, since July, and really, I mean, really just kind of got to a standstill. I was busy with a job, job transitions. And I was like, man, do I really want to keep this up? Yeah, is it worth it?
Hmm.
And I was just, again, I don't know why I started talking myself out of it, but I said, listen, you started something good, you got to finish it. And I feel like, when God blesses us with things, the best we can do is take advantage of the opportunity and keep working on it.
Absolutely. Even if, presenting the opportunity to someone like me, this is my first podcast. I'm very excited. So,
Wow.
I'm happy for you to reboot this and I'm honored to be a part of it.
Thank you, thank you, and and I'm really glad you're here. And thank you for all your help this morning with getting everything started this morning.
Absolutely. Comes with the territory, right?
Yeah,
Troubleshooting, technical difficulty.
I'm telling you, like it'll drive you crazy, but but
I would say, yeah, you definitely have to, you have to have a lot of patience with tech.
yeah, yeah. I tell my students that too. Sometimes it can work against you.
You gotta just stay the course, stick it out, and
Yeah,
when something starts finally working, that feeling is worth it.
right. I was gonna say, so I'm very familiar with programs like Code.org, Girls Who Code, and Cisco Networking Academy. But tell me about the SANS Institute. I never had a chance to work inside there, but like, what kind of curriculum do they offer?
Absolutely. So, okay, let me backtrack a little bit because that's, my cybersecurity side. So, as you know, I was talking about how I work with nonprofit orgs, and I came across an organization that got compromised, right? So that means they got breached, they lost access to their accounts, and they were hacked. And I had no idea how to help them. So that's what sparked my interest into moving forward with cybersecurity, right? And so, I found the SANS Workforce Academy, Cyber Workforce Academy. It's a scholarship opportunity. I think they have a few different academies, right? They have like one for veterans, one for women. There's a diversity one, and the one I found was specifically for the state of Maryland. And so that was absolutely it was it was one of those things where it was hard, but it was so worth it.
Mhm.
It was definitely something I had to push myself to go through. You sit for 9 months. You have 9 months in the program, and there's three certifications that you receive throughout the program, right? And so these are GIAC certifications. They are like considered, very highly valued certifications. So, the GFAC, which is your tech fundamentals, your GSEC, which is Security Essentials, and then your GCIH, which is the Certified Incident Handler cert.
For those who may not be familiar, explain for us how GIAC relates to the Security Plus certification. I guess what would be some of the required skills for GIAC, and also if you can share some of the salary opportunities that they can earn here.
Yeah, so with these certifications compared to Security Plus, so like with the CompTIA Security Plus, I would say compared to the GIAC, you have a lot more hands-on. So like there's a lot more technical lab portions to the GIAC certification. So they call it I think it's Cyber Live if I'm not mistaken. Where it's a live environment. You go in and you actually put to you show them the skills that you acquired during the actual lab. So like, whereas I guess CompTIA doesn't have as much lab portions to it. So it's a little bit more in depth. It's
CompTIA
a lot more
doesn't.
in
You
depth.
got to get on different platforms. Like let's see, Professor Messer. Who are some other ones
Hmm.
out there? You get a lot of them off Udemy too. But CompTIA doesn't.
Hmm.
You go to Cisco Networking Academy. They have a lot of courses out there now that can be done.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
So I actually am still the Security Plus because it's so highly valued in the industry. That is my next goal is to sit for that exam.
So you know what? That was my very first certification. I got that back in 2011, and I may be showing my age here now. So and it's funny because because I got a assault growing right here now, but it's okay. Um, I was gonna.
No, listen, that's I like that you brought that up because it shows that no matter what age you are, like me myself, okay, I'm just gonna put myself out there. I'm 34, right?
Yeah,
And so you can pivot at any
yeah.
time in your life, and that is okay to be a career changer.
You can't. I'm just 37, by the way, but I was just gonna say, but yeah, I've had people much older. Even some of the classes I taught, I never get
Mhm.
when when I first went full time at Trinum at the time. Did you know that my fifth grade tutor walked through the door to sit in my class? I was amazed. Miss Thomas. So she tutored me in math
Wow.
from actually fourth, fifth, and sixth grade. But here she she came back, as a retired teacher, and she sat in my room. I mean, she was probably at least in her probably I'm just guessing seventies, eighties at this time. But I was so excited to see her because I wouldn't have passed math at that time up without her. I'm to be honest.
That's beautiful. No, that's a full circle moment.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
yeah,
honestly,
that's pretty
without
cool.
her, I mean, it was. I'm gonna tell you, fractions and decimal man was kicking my butt at the time. It was.
Yes, I would say math is not my strength either, but I'm glad I didn't let like, hesitations getting back into a lot of people think technology, there's a lot of math involved. And in certain areas there are, but thankfully for what I've had to experience, not too much math.
But I mean, it was a great moment because and I was glad to see her, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make sure she passed, make sure she learned all she needed here. But just showing you that she wanted to go back and actually learn about technology, even at her age. She retired, so you know what, I don't plan on going back to work, but I think I need to know.
Mhm. It's
But
for all ages.
yeah,
Technology is forever growing, forever changing. If you want to keep up with the times,
yeah,
learning technology is one of those ways to do it.
absolutely.
Even in some of the courses that I've sat in, all ages, younger than me, older than me, same age, it's for everybody.
Yeah. Um,
That's willing. Everybody that's willing.
yeah. And you know what? That's my main goal for all the classes I taught. You had to at least try. I mean, I'm not
Mhm.
worried about you being an expert. Okay, you just have opened this book before you came to class. And
Right.
you just try. I
A
could do
lot of it
it.
is learn it as you go and
It
having
really
the
is.
mindset that if you don't know something, you can figure it out.
So,
Um,
there's a lot of time, even as an instructor, you're gonna have to lab. lab, and lab. You got had to go. You got to lab and build things before you take it to the students. But up to me, it was a lot more fun that way because
Hmm.
it kind of put my own twist to it as well. So I'm
Okay.
familiar with the material. I can present it, but I said, hey, I can also make this very relatable to the students. So it's not going over anybody's head.
Hmm.
I want to be where anybody can actually get it, whether it be new, intermediate, or advanced. But like I was saying, that brings us to my next part, my next question, and community involvement, mentorship. Now, do you feel that as a teacher inside all of us?
I do,
I'm
absolutely.
so
No
too.
matter where you are in your journey, I 1000% agree.
Yeah. And the reason I say that, regardless of you a full-time classroom teacher like myself, I think we all have some unique gifts to share with others. So your background being SharePoint, you have a lot of good experience in cybersecurity. So when you teach that to someone who comes from let's say a networking background like myself as well, or you might have a coding background over here, or somebody who's brand new. You bring all that together, you bring a wide skill set, and you're actually showing them that this can be done.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yes. I feel like there's a lot of different areas in tech, but they're all connected in some way, somehow, right? Yeah, they're all interconnected. So one thing kind of just led to another with me, whether when it went from web development to N365 and SharePoint is still interconnected with building SharePoint sites, there. And then the cybersecurity side, right? Microsoft has its own cybersecurity technologies. It's all connected.
So, uh, what is like one of the most important lessons that you learn with, let's say, working with mission driven organizations and with mentorship?
With mission-driven organizations and mentorship, I would say mentorship goes a long way. It helps to have someone that has a background or that knowledge to guide people and point you in the right direction because sometimes, you know, your journey or you have so many interests and you don't really have a set path. So having someone to guide you along the way is totally okay. And a lot of people are afraid to ask for help sometimes.
They are.
That was one of the most important things that I learned for myself. I was one of those people that just tried to figure it out on my own.
Trust me.
But
Trust me.
I had
I
to
can relate
switch gears and learn how to ask for help.
because sometimes even like myself, see what happened this morning. I was afraid, not having my platform up and running. You may get discouraged, like, wait a minute, I don't think you know what he's doing. I don't know I could be on this show. So, sometimes those type of fears uh come to mind. You're afraid of turning people away, afraid that they may not take you serious enough. And that I think that's what holds us up from asking for help. At least those things kind of as I shared came across my mind. So I guess like how would you try to convince someone to just, ask and let them know it won't be held against them?
You have to tell yourself like we're all human, right? We're all human. We all start from somewhere. How would you want someone to assist you or help you in a situation that that person might be in, right? And
Uh-huh.
so, like I said earlier, like I do this all day troubleshooting, right? Technology takes a lot of patience. For
Mhm.
me, it's actually fun to like troubleshoot and get figure something out, get to the bottom of something. So once you have that mindset, like if this was me, what would I hope that person would do?
Right. So, uh, wow, this bring me to the next part. Innovation. We know technology was created many moons ago now. We know Steve Jobs produced one of the very first Apple computers. We know IBM started supercomputers, which helped NASA launch its first Saturn missile to the moon. But now we're in year 2025. We come a long way. How do you actually think we go about encouraging our young people to step further into tech and learn the new skills, whether it be AI, let's say automation and coding? Let's start there first. How do you think we can first get them to learn it? Like what are some of the best websites to help them get started?
Okay, so I would say kids now, right, are involved or love video games.
Mhm.
They're, they can learn web development, or game development specifically. Web development, game development, two different things. But like that's an interest. Starting with something that you have an interest in, right? So there's websites for almost anything and everything. I would say for game development, you have Microsoft Make Code, right?
Oh yeah.
The Make Code website.
Mhm.
The Make Code website is a
Hey,
good way
code.
to get your foot in the door with learning how to do, simple game development.
I have another.
Um,
So you have the Raspberry Pi Foundation. That
mhm.
allows you to actually learn about 3D. And you go to Tinkercad, you get started with your 3D printing models.
Nice, nice.
So
That's one thing I actually have recently taken interest in wanting to learn is 3D printers.
yeah.
Because that's something that's very cool. Actually speaking of 3D printers and like AI, right? So
Mhm.
like I know that there's the websites called printables where you can get the files that you put into the 3D printers. I wanted to see if something like Copilot, right? Copilot is Microsoft's AI technologies if it could assist with generating files for 3D printers. So that's something I actually wanted to do as of recently.
Yeah. So I have one here. My 3D printer has been kind of giving me a little trouble here lately. I had my project completed. I made a rocket, made a whistle as well. So my whistle works. I was able to print that. My rocket, however, my filament counter doesn't really sit well with that. So that's what's been going on with that one. But all that being said, the printable website is something that I will check out. But my next question is now teamwork. How can we go about building a strong team that's dominant to include everyone and be diversified? I,
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
I
It's
was saying,
breaking up a little bit.
I was saying like, how can we diversify our teams? From skill set, ethnicity, and let's say skill level.
Absolutely. I mean, I think no matter where someone is on their journey, right, you always have something to offer. So, um, just like for me, you spoke about Raspberry Pi. I'm not that very well versed in working with I know what it is working with, but I'm not well versed with working with a Raspberry Pi. Where someone what you may not know, someone else doesn't, right? And
Mhm.
so that's why it's always good to welcome input, collaboration from anybody, no matter where they are in their journey. I think it is important for platforms such as yourself, for people, like the youth, that look like us to see people
Yeah,
doing what we do and,
yeah.
continuing to encourage them to be a part of it so that we are more represented in the space of technology.
Mhm.
Um, my mind is always going, once I'm through with all of my internships and stuff like that, how can I, continue the journey of passing it on to the next generation? That's like a goal that I have personally for myself is seeing that those um after me or younger than me can continue. being the inspiration for those underneath or younger than them.
Because like you say, representation is everything. Because most, I think, younger students will think of us, people with our skill set and background. They may think, we should be older people, right? Not realizing that people of your skin color and young people as well can actually work in tech and be successful.
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
that,
And it starts with just the visibility of it. They need to see more of us and more platforms like this.
because what I was saying was that uh, I know we had a field trip before Christmas break, and we went to NASA in Huntsville, Alabama, and just seeing the excitement on the kids' face, seeing how excited they were, and meeting the scientists and another researcher, engineer, I mean, they got a chance to see like, wow, these some of the things we did in class. So like they use Python up here, use the to write their software, and then seeing that it's not just used only for schoolwork, it's actually used in the real world. And then having to go to
Hmm.
NASA and explore how those missiles landed on the moon and how they explored other planets in outer space. But just seeing how that opened their eyes up to saying, hey, you know what? I heard a couple of them say that I want to try to go into outer space now. That made me feel good because they're thinking now.
Hmm.
Like they're thinking about more career pattern. No, no, they just middle schools. They got time to change their mind a thousand times between now and time they leave high school. But
Hmm.
that's okay. I just want them to have as many opportunities as possible. Just know that you have options.
Absolutely. I want to touch on one thing that you just said, when the students had an opportunity to see how things are used in the real world.
Yeah.
And one thing that I recall that was a very popular saying when I was younger is, we don't need to learn this because we're never going to use it in the future.
Yeah.
That was so popular. And I don't know who taught us to say that, but I hope that the younger generations, unlearn that. And because, especially with technology, you can see absolutely how things are used in the real world or STEM in general, science, everything. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up.
I think we've all been guilty of saying that before.
Hmm.
Knowing that we will use those skills at some point in our lives, even when we're not
Hmm.
aware that we're using it.
Absolutely.
So next, I want to say now you went a non-traditional route. Now I want to keep everyone
Mhm.
encouraged that your dreams are possible both traditional and non-traditional route. I don't want to turn anyone against going to college
Absolutely.
because I think my college experience was one of the best things that could happen to me. Attending Alabama State,
Absolutely.
not just from the technical skills I gained, but the friends I made, life experiences. It really matured me and grew me up a lot. Even though
Hmm.
I went to college here in my hometown, but still, I got exposed to a lot of skills from working hard, working through difficult situations, learning how to present in front of the class. Let me tell you, I was not a good presenter my freshman or sophomore year. I actually dropped my business communication class twice. But it's just when I came back that third time, that was summer school that year, and the same professor, Dr. Self, said she stopped me at the door
Hmm.
one day. Oh, you back, huh? And she said, "You back? Well, guess what? You're not gonna pass my class until you start dropping my class." Wow. So that hit home.
I
so
bet. I bet.
so I mean, it just really kind of I felt it right here.
Hmm.
We had a presentation like I think in like 2 days later, and I was nervous as ever, but I decided I was gonna go home and prepare, and I did. I did my first presentation on. It was just on something about myself, talking about myself and my goals. Let me tell you, back then we were allowed to use no cards, and you know what, and I want to say like I made a sweated everything I wrote off those note cards from holding in my hand. That's how nervous I was.
Wow.
But I got through the presentation, and after I passed my first one, well, I'm ready now.
The rest is history, right?
Hmm.
Well,
Ready. I'm
I'm
ready.
glad you brought that up. Um, because education is very, very important. And even though my journey is non-traditional, I still see and value the importance of education. So
Yeah.
I did have some college experience. I would say around 2016 is when I did go back to school, and then I had a break that just led to a very long break, right? And
Wow.
so, in order for me to, just to try to skill up as fast as I could, I went a non-traditional route, but I am 1000% going back because finishing my degree is still one of my top goals, right? And
Uh,
especially when it comes to certain jobs, right? You do want to have that degree because it shows, your grit and your determination. Not saying that a non-traditional route doesn't either, but there are some jobs that require you to have that degree. So it's I still see the value in it, and it's something I want to
so
see through.
you should definitely do it because, like I always said, degrees, certification, they all work hand in hand.
Hmm.
They all do.
Absolutely.
And you combine your background and skills, whether self-taught or not, you become even more powerful. It's just that when anytime you don't do it, that just makes you, I guess, limited in a way.
Absolutely.
It makes you limited. So I think it's worth it. And like I said, once I got to learn how to present, I mean, the rest was history. That's staying fast for a couple of years. Here I am teaching in front of classes, delivering presentations like I've been doing it all my life. So, and I just had my eighth graders just on Wednesday. I gave them a little bell ring. I said, I want you to write down your goals. So here we are in the second half of the school year. Think about where you are now. What do you want to achieve for the rest of the school year and how you want to be remembered before you go to high school? So a lot of them stop in their tracks right there, like, huh, man, you know what? I just been trying to pass classes. I'm just trying to get out of school. Yeah, I understand that, but I want you to think about now, what do you really want to do? And I saw some of them wrote down ideas from working on my attitude. Let's see, improving my math skills, reading skills. One person even said, I want to look at reading and present in front of the class. I thought that was good. Somebody said getting closer to God. That was great as well. But when I called some people to share those things, I mean, they wrote down, almost two paragraphs. They wrote down a lot of things on that paper, but they were ashamed or shy to read it, read it out loud. And in that moment,
Wow.
in that moment, I realized, okay, it's not that they can't do it. It's just that they're not used to doing that.
Hmm. It
Hmm.
does. It takes a lot of courage and a lot of vulnerability, you know, to put yourself out there. But that kind of falls in line to me with asking for help. They say closed mouths don't get fed, right? If you're not
Yeah.
willing to put yourself out there and be vulnerable, and you have to remind yourself like everybody's human, nobody's perfect, right? We all bleed blood, right?
Mhm. We
So
do. We do.
you don't have to be afraid of another human and what they may think,
And, since I
your
had,
journey may inspire someone else.
yeah, and I realized too, although when I'm teaching, I'm trying to get through the curriculum, I got a lot of boxes I want to check off, right? But moments like that, I think are important where you got to just go ahead and show them, like, hey, this moment right here, we're here to learn, and I want you all to be comfortable with doing so. You know, don't be, it's like, too, don't be so caught up in, I guess, trying to be perfect and think, I guess you're gonna get deemed or taken off. You got to create a space for them to actually express themselves too.
Absolutely.
And, that's what I
Absolutely.
realized in a lot of that too.
Yeah, just like you mentioned, the teacher that you had that full circle moment with,
Yep.
I think,
And
with you creating this space where your students can be open and vulnerable with you, I'm pretty sure they value you the same way.
yeah, I think so too. And that's something that, although see with a young group of students, you want to kind of keep things structured more so they don't get too far out there on you. But it's like too, it's like yeah, sometimes let them go ahead and get some of those silver stories out. And it's gonna have to
Mhm.
come out. I mean, they're kids.
Right.
For one, so but just balancing those things has been a thing for me.
Beautiful. Well, I feel like what you do for the youth and for the community is very, very inspiring.
Thank you.
And it's something that I hope to one day inspire and do the same, passing it on to the
Well,
youth the way you are.
you know what? I think you'll easily get there. I say this, you get a chance, start doing some volunteer work, whether it be at the YMCA or you want to start, just some private tutoring. It could just be maybe one, two people. You
Hmm.
start small that way, and I'm pretty sure you get a chance to connect with the students you tutoring, see what you like, and then how you want to add to your own curriculum. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
I think doing those things to kind of show you what route you want to go.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
I appreciate that. Yeah, for sure.
Um. So right now, how long have we been working in tech again?
I've only been at this. I've had my first job, which I'm still within for the past 2.5 years, and I would say I started self-teaching myself maybe a year prior, so
About
about
three
three and a
years.
half years. Hmm.
Okay. So what are some of my goals for 2025? So we're right here in our second week, going our second week in 2025. What does Kenelle plan to do this year? How does she plan to grow?
I'm still going hard this year. I have been blessed with the opportunity of landing an internship. And so I have a 6 month internship that I'm working through just to gain more hands-on experience in the real world. I still want to get my Security Plus cert. And so I'm adding mentorship, into my goals this year. I want to be able to pass it on. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I hit my mic. Pass it on to to the future generations.
Got
I feel
excited,
like
I
even
see.
though, yeah, I'm still in the beginning of my journey, but I feel like I'm in a place where I can share what I do know.
You absolutely can. Mentorship is good. You know what? You probably teaching it, shortly after this. You probably teaching. I can see. I'm serious. But
Thank you. No, thank you. I appreciate
yeah,
it.
I can see that happening. So I mean, that's great. Um,
Can I ask the same for you? Like,
yeah.
what are your goals for this year?
Oh, okay. So all right. Well, guess what? I checked off a huge one today. Relaunching our Right Now Radio. That's
Yay, I
cool.
think that deserves a round of applause.
So
That is big. That's
yeah,
big.
it is. And after months of um some self doubt and going back and forth in my own head, I decided to go for it again. I said, "Listen, you gotta go." You know what? The Facebook members will do it to you when you start seeing your
Hmm.
old events. And the Juneteenth episode I did last summer was a big one because it was live in the community at the New South Bookstore. I looked at all the people that
Wow.
came out. We had a food truck. People actually gave us free food.
Wow. That's amazing.
So with all that being said, man, I got to do this again. And actually, after a while, people just ask you, why did you stop anyway? Well, I had a lot going on. They said, listen, you got to shake it off and you get back in the game.
Hmm.
And I,
That's yeah. Being able to pick back up and keep
and then,
going.
also too, beginning of the year, I started missing. Like, man, here I am, I'm just just not doing that anymore. I missed it. I missed everything that came with it, from excitement, the live guests, the community involvement, even
Mhm.
uh, monetize benefits. But so I said, man, I got to get it back. I got to. I just, make sure it wasn't too late and give on my dream either. And that's another thing. Don't give on your dream for anybody. But
Absolutely.
back to your question, I want to continue growing as a teacher, learning 3D printing, Raspberry Pis. We build it better. I want to break in more of our kits, building the car, building the airplane. Because we built some snowmen yesterday in class, or Thursday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we used some marshmallows, toothpick straws. I let them use pipe cleaners to decorate it, and I have
Mhm.
some pictures of how we did that. But those type of things showed me, like, I saw a different level of excitement, because that's what they like.
Right, right. No, it helps to incorporate, things that are of interest. I also have an interest in art as well.
Oh
You have
yeah,
to make time for the things you love, right?
yeah, you do. You really do. Actually, I'm into art myself, drawing and painting. I got one piece that in my room that I'm trying to finish. Hang on my wall.
Nice, nice. I have during the pandemic, I picked up resin art. I'm not sure if you've heard of that,
What's
but
that?
I yeah, I had I spent the entire time that that period where we were out of work due to COVID, just picking up on resin art, alcohol inks, working with different mediums. So I have a passion for that too.
Wow.
I noticed like a lot of people in tech were very multi-layered. We have
Yeah,
a lot
we
of
are.
a
We
lot
are.
of interests.
You know what?
Anything creative,
I love
yeah.
going to Black History museums too. Love Black history, especially the history that's not put in our books, it's not publicized enough. I'm really diving into that. Oh yeah, because I've learned a lot about people who
Absolutely.
who sit right in church with us. Some of our elders, like,
Mhm.
they never been a part of history, but a lot of them were a part of the Montgomery bus boycott. They sit right next to our civil rights leaders. So I think that's important to highlight.
Wow.
So, another goal,
Absolutely.
you know, get back into the community more. Let's see what else. More certifications in computer science. I want to finish my CCNP file. I want to go back and finish that.
Okay.
Uh, what else I want to do? I want to travel. I want to go to a podcast festival. I want to market myself and uh just connect, grow more podcasters. Hopefully, win an award or two. Just get it out there. Going global,
Beautiful.
local and global.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I want that. I see that for you. I see that for you. Speaking of traveling, I experienced my first overseas trip back in September. I went to Greece for the
Oh,
first time, Santorini, and that was absolutely I want to go back. I want to go back this year. So I know it's so much to see, but right now I'm stuck on Santorini. I would love to do that again.
nah, that's
But
I want to go now. Tell me about it. I guess, what did you see there?
Santorini is just absolutely beautiful. So the island, you see, no matter where you are, I feel like you can see water on both sides. But very popular are the buildings with the blue domes. So I got to see that in person. The people there are so amazing. They treated me so nice, very sweet.
Mhm.
Um, just it's a very welcoming country. Um, the food was
That's
amazing.
good.
I did my first flying dress photo shoot. I know that's very popular. People have probably seen like the flying dress photo shoot. So yeah, I had a blast. I got on the boat for the first time. Something
What?
I never thought I
Um,
something I never thought I could see myself doing.
yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I will say, pivoting into tech allowed me to be able to do that,
Wow.
have the means to do it. So it's a beautiful
Because
thing.
Julia, you know what? Now that's awesome because tech allowed me to go some places that I never thought I would. Actually, tech allowed me to
Mhm.
get an airplane for the first time when I was 26. My first flight was
Wow.
that was actually 18 hours.
18-hour flight.
First flight ever in
Man.
my life.
Oh my
18 hours.
goodness. That's brutal.
Oh yeah,
That's brutal.
and even on the way back, I got sick on the plane, some motion sickness. I experienced all that in there on that trip. So yeah, it's just I said all of that in one.
But I'm pretty sure that the trip was still worth it, right?
Oh, it was well worth it. Another
Hmm.
thing, like my hotel was set up like had a big old we stayed on a resort.
Nice,
Stayed on a
nice.
resort, so like all this right outside my hotel room. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now where did you go? Where was it?
I went to Anderson Air Force Base in Guam.
Oh, okay, nice, nice in Guam. I have heard of Guam, and I think that was one of the places because Santorini ended up being, I wanted to go there my whole life, but I was, toying with the idea of I think Guam was on there on my list, Bali, and Tanzania was somewhere that I wanted to go as well.
Yeah.
So Santorini won, but those are still in the lineup.
Wow. That's cool. So definitely man. Those two places I would love to go see too. One of my favorite trips was Alaska. I went there back in 2023. Yeah. No,
Wow.
22. But
Okay.
went to Alaska. I was there for almost 2 months. But
Oh my goodness.
we on a contract assignment. I got a chance to see glaciers, the northern lights, and I got a chance to see. It was in the twilight season, so we had 20 hours of daylight. So it's eight,
Wow.
9 o'clock at night. It's bright sunny outside.
That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
That's
Like
pretty
it's like
cool.
right this time of the year, it's the opposite. So it gets dark. It's always
Hmm.
at that time, and it's much colder. You got 5-degree weather, -5-degree weather.
My goodness.
It's
My
extremely cold.
goodness.
Now
I
here
actually I recently
In Montgomery right now, it's about 20. It's in the 20s
20
right
degrees right now.
now. Yeah, it's in the 20s now. That's pretty brutal to me. But just
That's rare for
imagine,
you guys. Did
yeah.
did you get snow? I know a lot of my colleagues are in Atlanta and they got snow. Did you guys get snow as well?
Now, see, we were supposed to get some yesterday, but it just rained. It just rained.
Okay,
I
okay.
hope it would.
You guys lucked out.
I
I'll
mean,
say you lucked out.
I was kind of hoping it would though.
Hmm.
'Cause every
Oh,
time it
you
snows
wanted
here,
to see it
yeah,
snow?
'cause every time it snows here, see, that's a rare moment anyway. But yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, looking at our goals for the year, we got some great goals. I can say we're well on our way. I mean, we're doing well already.
Yes, for
But
sure. And I look forward to hearing about you getting your awards for your podcast.
thank
I'm
you.
looking forward to that.
And another thing, I guess like some of the as we get ready to close out, what are some words of wisdom that you have to leave our audience, both young and old?
Um, I would say, and I know this might sound cliche, but never stop believing in yourself, right?
Hmm.
You are your biggest fan, your biggest motivator. Block out the noise. You know, anything that's negative standing in your way, know that you can get through it. Sometimes you just have to put into your mind the journey is not always linear, right? There's different hurdles that you may have to go, but
You
when
go
you
through
keep
Stokes.
pushing, yeah, when you weather those storms and you keep pushing, the just seeing the fruits of your labor is an indescribable feeling. Um, and I would say if you are one of those people that have it in you to give back and pass it on and keep motivating the next generation, we need that too.
Uh, Absolutely. I receive all of that because although I feel like I'm aware, but hearing it again really refreshes my soul. So
Thank you, thank you. Um,
I receive that as
uh,
well.
Thank you. Even, just having this opportunity to be on a platform like this is, very meaningful to me. I feel like I've reached a new level,
Yeah,
in my career. So just to be able to have someone interested in hearing of my journey, it means a lot. It means a lot, and it speaks on how far I've come, after 13 years of dental assistant, and now I get to speak on my journey in technology,
yeah,
so I
yeah.
appreciate it.
And I just encourage you to just, continue sharing this with everyone that you're able to come in contact with. You have opportunity to just, share it. Even when you
Mm-hmm.
probably feel like you're not in the mood sometimes. But I found in those moments, like you need to.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like in the Bible when God tells us, encourage us to share the gospel, make disciples out
Mm-hmm.
of everybody. I feel like that's part of it too. Using your gifts and sharing them with others too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
I feel like this journey has helped me, find a new purpose for sure.
yeah. And wow. And when you find that purpose, it's like your word just feels like I want to say this. It's kind of like it doesn't feel like work anymore. It just like that's something that you get to do every day. It's a privilege. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah.
Absolutely.
But look down at your watch. What time is it, Kenelle?
Right now, live on Right Now Radio.
That's gonna wrap wrap about next reboot episode. This tech talk with Kenelle Moore. And once we post it, it'll be available on all platforms from Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and all platforms, YouTube as well. Signing off, Right Now Radio.